isn't the teacher just going, in my limited experience and my cohorts and these communities, isn't the response of the teacher without that kind of training or an integrally informed consciousness that they always rationalize or interpret whatever they're doing? If they're throwing feces at you like a monkey, it's the Zen master throwing feces at you like a monkey, or whatever it is. And sometimes you do need poop thrown in your face or whatever, and it's appropriate in that moment, and it's the surprise, and it's maybe there is a little crazy wisdom here and there, but it feels like without the context that we're exploring here today, that it just reverts back to that automatic trump card. No matter what, I'm always your teacher. So you may think I'm crazy, but it's the limitation of your realization which is causing that misinterpretation. So drink my pee or whatever.
Well, you know. Stuart, there are teachers and then there are teachers, and that's the problem. Some people are lucky or have the whatever the karma is. They are lucky enough to find a good teacher. Some people, unfortunately, find charlatans. They have the same name, teacher.
So are you going to be my teacher?
Fuck you. That's the figurative, exactly my point. If you are stupid enough to think that something like that has a meaning, you're projecting something already. And we do that. There's so much in the relationship with teachers that is based on some kind of wishful thinking or some stupid thing we read. We don't look carefully. Finding a teacher and having a relationship with a teacher, if one takes the spiritual path seriously, which is also an issue, is the most important thing that one can do in this life. And it requires the most care. So it's a process. Either there is a meeting of minds or there is not.
Having said that, in the context of that, in the long run, it's better to have a spiritual leader who's integrally whole and well developed, so he can consciously impact his student and not out of personal pathology lash out, and you hope the result is.
But by whose standard?
Well, but just to,
whose standard?
Well, the standard
by your standard
of the emerging wisdom and science of this integral arena we're in.
Oh, by another standard that you think is a good standard. It's not like that. It's about a relation. This is about a relationship. This part of it between human beings. I love these charts. I publish these charts.
Okay,
I publish these charts.
Sam,
excuse me,
read
Ken.
my fucking charts out of this. I'm not gonna. I love the charts, but I don't want to hear the but.
Everyone makes mistakes. That's not a problem.
But maybe that.
Make mistakes?
Maybe
you said everyone makes mistakes, but clearly, like in the lines of development.
Did you hear what I said? Everyone makes mistakes.
So how do you know if the guru or the rabbi or the priest is making a mistake?
I mean,
that's the question.
But it's the dilemma.
Yeah.
It's the dilemma.
You have to find out.
And you have to find.
We are in an age where we like to blame someone else for our problems.
Yeah, but Sam,
there are problems.
I don't think our issues as practitioners, if I could speak for all practitioners on the planet, is that teachers make mistakes. It's that teachers make mistakes and call them successes in teaching.
Yes.
And it's that misrepresentation.
And what I'm saying is the world is full of charlatans. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
So on the one hand, we need to the most important thing is that we have to find this teacher and submit fully. But on the other hand, the world is full of charlatans, and
good luck.
What I'm saying is it takes some intelligence of your own, not somebody else's intelligence. You have to trust in that within you. I mean, ultimately, if you have a relationship with a guru, the only thing that the guru can point to is your inner guru, which not something outside. That a real teacher, that is what they do. It's not that they become, some big deal. It's that they point to the inner guru, which is your wisdom being.
So do you think that they've automatically apprehended an integral approach through intuition, or is it not even relevant whether there's an integral approach to intuition? Because if person A comes to a guru and they're exit green, and person B comes and they're, another variety of orange exit and green, all the different varieties we can think of, is that relevant? Is a nuanced understanding of all the stages and varieties and types and that
maybe if they read Ken's book, but if they didn't, they wouldn't have a clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if you think that it's beneficial for this to be introduced for student and teacher in either direction.
For anyone that's interested, of course it's beneficial. Of course it's beneficial. There's a widening process by, what Ken is presenting is not something just, from outer space exactly. What Ken does is he's worked very hard to, he's actually a traditionalist in a certain way.
Yeah, I don't take him out of tradition. Let me just put part of the what I hear both of you saying and some others as well is, let me give two sort of extremist examples to show what we're talking about. Whenever you're working with a teacher of any variety, there's at least this part of it, not all of it, but this part of it. Let's say you're learning mathematics and you go to a mathematics teacher and they're teaching you arithmetic. 2 + 2 = 4. Now, you're young and you say 2 + 2 is 7. No, 2 + 2 is 4. I'm right, you're wrong. Now, if you're here to get the information, I don't want to hear that, gee, I'm not teaching you fairly. Or you're wrong. This is the correct answer in this knowledge community. Now, that's a part of teaching in any type of teaching, including spiritual teaching. There are certain kinds of answers to certain kinds of things where the teacher's right and you're wrong. And if you say, no, I want to be treated fair, that's your ego. And okay, now that's I'm going to use an extreme example because that's clear enough to understand. The problem is, of course, we go to a spiritual teacher, they think they have the same kind of omniscience about everything else. Now, some of them think that, some of them don't, but that's what we're talking about, is that sometimes they step over the line. And they think because they're transmitting this very important knowledge for which they do have essentially the correct answers within that tradition, that therefore they're going to have correct answers about everything else. And often just as worse, the student thinks they do and projects on to the teacher. And then the teacher all of a sudden finds him or herself going, what, your marriage? Oh yeah, of course I have the answer to that. Yes, marry Susie, not Rachel. And then you go, okay, they must know exactly what they're doing because they're enlightened. So it's this all these gray areas is where people run ashore and get damaged horribly. And that's where we find so many of the problems in this culture. Sometimes it's sexual relations, it's money relations, it's power relations, and so on. So we can't go again to either extremes. We can't say, oh, the teacher's just my spiritual friend, and if they suggest that 2 + 2 is 4, I'll think about it. And I'll come back and let them know if I feel comfortable with that, And then it's like, oh, I don't know. How about 6? I feel so much better that way. No, ego, and that's where you deserve a big stick at that point, right over your head. But then it gets murky. And that's all these difficult areas, and I don't think anybody has really good answers to that. But I think one of the things we're saying, an integral approach can help, but it's not a panacea, is it can help a teacher and a student get a sense of where the teacher knows 2 + 2 is 4. And there are certain categories and methodologies for which that practice is the best possible answer you're probably going to get. And if the teacher says that, then either go with what the teacher says or go get another teacher. But difficulty comes when the teachers start extending all these other decisions and all these other areas. And then you have to have discriminating intelligence. But that's not allowed. That's ego. So as far as I can tell, when I look back over the past 30 years and see all the unfortunate things it's happened in that gray zone. And we've reacted badly by saying, oh, therefore the teachers don't know anything. They're just our spiritual friend. And then we move them over into the category of mush, where it's just sort of, like getting tips from your astrologer, on how to... Should I get out of bed today? No? Okay. What's the color for today? Green. Thank you. So that's it. So I don't think we can go. Sam, I think, is representing, look, there are parts of this, it's 2 + 2 = 4, and you've really got to get behind faith in that if you want to do this practice. But some of the other people are bringing up, wait a minute, they need leadership training, or they need some of these other things, or maybe it could be a little bit more intellectually informed, and then we're going to be a little wiser about what they can do and what they can't do. But no pat answers on that one.